Hi, Chris Christophe here, and thank you for joining me in this fourth and final video of our four-part series. How I went from broke to property millionaire, how I built a property empire, and how you can use your mortgage to get into the property market and build a property portfolio. Now, as I mentioned before, let me begin with my story. When I was 19 years old, I asked my father if I could have $30,000, which was an advance wedding present, so I could buy myself a car. My dad said, no, you must put it in real estate, Chris, if you want this money early before you get married. I was the youngest of four siblings. My other two brothers and sisters already got their money. I said, all right, Dad. So I went and started working in a property company. I started doing research. I found a property, a 3-bedroom townhouse in New South Wales, Tweed, which I purchased using my father's $30,000 deposit. The purchase price was $183,900. Just before I was about to sell on that property, I started to get nervous and get cold feet. I called up my solicitor and said, I don't want to proceed. I don't want to have $170,000 debt at such a young age. Not long after, I got a call from my broker. His name was James Cameron. He worked for Aussie Home Ones. And he said, Chris, I heard you want to pull out of the contract. I said, yes. He said, why? I said, I'm too nervous. I don't want to have a debt. I want to pull out. I just want my money back. He said, what was the reason that you wanted to get into real estate? I said, I didn't want to retire broke. I wanted to give my future family a good retirement, and I wanted to be wealthy. He said, I want you to focus on those things and I want you to proceed, Chris. Long story short, he convinced me and I proceeded with my first purchase. And I was so happy because of that, because all that did was put me on a path, and I fell in love with the property industry, and I just kept going and going and going. I repeated that process buying my first property, and by the age of 24 I found myself with 8 investment properties. Things were looking really good and I was flying high, but that's when it all came down for me. The company I was working for went into receivership. I lost all of my income, all my commission. I was even forced to move back into my parents' house, and I was left with a $348,000 worth of debt. To make matters worse, my son at the time, Alec, contracted bacterial meningitis and almost died. He was hospitalized for 2.5 weeks and became deaf as a result of it. This was by far the hardest time in my life. I did not know what to do. I felt like throwing the towel and giving up, but I couldn't. What sort of message would that have been to my son? So I buckled down, and I knew that I had the knowledge to build wealth through real estate. I knew that I could help people do it as well. So in my mum's house in her study is where I started my company Reventon in 2005. My main goal was to pay off my debts. So within 3 short years, I had all my debts paid off and everyone I owed money to. My next focus was, along with helping clients build a property portfolio and pay off their mortgages sooner, was to build my wealth back. Through using the same steps I did as a 19-year-old kid to 24, I built a property portfolio back in no time. And within 8 years, I summed a property portfolio worth well over $10 million through using what is known today as a Reventon formula. It's a blueprint to how to invest in real estate. Now, a few of the questions I get commonly asked is, Chris, how can you do this and get government tax incentives? There's a legal government loophole, which is called gearing, which you can use negative, positive, or neutral. There's different forms of gearing, which the government allows you to minimize your tax while buying certain investments, so you can become a self-funded retiree. So the benefit for the government, it creates a win-win scenario, where it will allow you to get tax breaks now, but you'll become a self-funded retiree, as I said. Since I started Reventon in 2005, I can proudly say I've helped over 3,000 Australians. I went from a debt of $348,000 to over $1 billion worth of sales. In the last 2 years alone, we've settled over $400 million in residential lending. And currently Reventon has over $600 million under management, asset finance and investments. Now, I don't tell you this to impress you. I tell you this to tell you that we have a blueprint, and it's something I've helped thousands of Australians with before, and I'm very proud of. And you're not dealing with just anybody here. In the other videos we talked about dealing with builders that have a proven track record. I have a proven track record both for myself and, more importantly, for thousands of clients and Australians like yourself. Nothing's more important than having the knowledge to be able to navigate through all these things when it comes to investing. Borrowing the right amount of money, having the right real estate agent, being able to go get good property management, a good accountant to do your tax variation form, to make sure you do property inspections, your quantity surveys, and all these things that you don't know. And of course, having good insurances in place, which is where our planning arm comes into it. So I implore you, having the right person in your team is paramount to coming up with a safe and secure, successful strategy for you to succeed. Now, if you're sitting here watching this saying, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I'm in a position to look at real estate, it would be remiss of you to not even have that conversation. So come and join me and my team for a free, no obligation chat so we can show you exactly what to do to get you in a position to look at real estate sooner rather than later. But you can have the peace of mind knowing that this company, who has over 200 years worth of collective experience, can help you not only get into the property market, not only thrive, but repeat that process, but to really pay off your mortgage sooner and secure your wealth in your retirement. I hope you've enjoyed these videos as much as I have to presenting them with you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.